Yeah. So we are celebrating like almost the 20 years of our friendship, but equally
Yes.
20 years of the partnership between the Meva and Megawide.
Megawide.
So that's incredible journey and many milestones. Obviously, if you look at back and accept the IPO of the Megawide, what comes to you? So like the most important three key facts or the key milestones for the development.
Well, number one, um, the first milestone is the time when, remember at the time when Megawide was so small, where we could not afford to buy your formworks because Meva is, well, Meva is normally you sell brand new, right? Mostly. And then the first milestone is you introduce us uh, in German market to try German equipment. That's the first, I think, first important milestone, because without that, everything is will never happen.
Okay. Well, I think obviously the later were many other options.
Yes.
Yeah. To
Yeah, and then it's which led to the second milestone. Second milestone is, I guess, the first milestone is the meeting. You introduced me to the German, whether it's a MEVA or German or youth. Second milestone is the continuous relationship. Right? We know we have a several transactions that led to us while the company is growing. Um, Also, MEVA is able to support in terms of engineering, exposure, education, bringing me and the other Filipino engineers to Germany. I think those those initiatives or those exercise were critical in developing the know-how of our company, and then coupled with the relationship, the support of MEBA, that's the second milestone, the continuous. And then, of course, the third milestone is when MEVA became publicly listed. So,
Megawide.
Megawide became publicly listed, and then, of course, we were more able to procure your goods, brand new, more brand new equipment. And then, so the three major milestones. But the most important thing is the relationship. Right? That's
Okay.
the underlying, I would say, underlying reason why we're still together, and why Megawatt is able to grow the company.
Okay. Well, on our timeline, there are so many things that we say. Okay, first time introduce the steel framework to the market, and you were very early adopter of the Alcus. Even as we said, not the frames were not directly from Eva, but the Alcus was already from Eva. So you are one of the early adopters, and certainly the first one in Asia. Then we were having the first mark on jazz, which was incredible, and obviously everyone was asking the question, why, what is it, what is this box being pushed out by the hydraulics. Then we have this incredible project of the depot with the Alufix,
Alufix.
with the Alufix now. So you recently were saying that you actually closed that project. So how was that in retrospectively?
Okay. um, you know, me personally and the whole Megawide, we're very bold and we're very innovative. So we want to try new things. And then, but we also need to partner with people like the Germans or Meva, who we believe that is capable to support our journey, to support our requirements. So since with the right behavior or traits, we want to try new things, and then you have someone like Meva who's willing to support, and then bring new technology, introduce new technology, new know-how, new knowledge, new system in Philippines. Then I think that's perfect. So that's why Megawide was able to grow the company, the construction companies, faster than the other competitors, and then we're able to deliver the the product, the services to the customers at the faster pace compared to the others, to the Philippine standards in terms of time and quality. And then a very good one of the most challenging project is the DepEd. As you know
Mm.
that, Art, remember when you were here, that a lot of there were so many skepticism at that time whether the project can be completed because there are 1,700 sites, as you know that. So and then we have to fund the project for 10 years. It's amortized.
Mm.
So you're right. Next year is our 10th year, so 2024, once we finish that 10th year amortization, practically we're done. We've delivered, and the last amortization will be next year.
Okay.
And we have by the way, we have survived several typhoons in especially in the southern part of National Capital Region, the Bicol area, where I think every year they have like more than 20 typhoons every year. So we have survived all of those typhoons for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. You know, for me, there was one more project that I remember that we tackled it together in a very special way, and it was the casino project where we completely re-engineered the construction methods with the with pouring the beams on under the slab
Yes.
level and then post-tensioning it, and it saved us so much of the reshoring in that, and we were working in these waves, and I always brought this to as an example where sometimes you really need to think not beyond your own expertise, you know, the area where you feel very comfortable. And I couldn't imagine any other probably company in the Philippines that was able to convince the structural engineer to go that road that enabled such a quick turnaround of the equipment. Yeah, I sort of recall that we cut down the equipment requirement by tenfold in comparison to the traditional method.
Yeah, no, you're right on that part because I want to share this to other young engineers, to other young companies who are still puzzled why Megawide, even at that time when we were small, why Megawide is able to afford to buy your product or your services. German top most advanced technologies. So, I mean, I think what is important for a construction company to look at the totality, because typically most of the engineers, contractors, or construction companies, they will try to compare the cost per se on the per item. We know Meva will not always be the cheapest, but the basis, even in Megawide, as you know that, we don't just look at the cost per se in terms of the item, of the purchase item. We look at the totality, the time it will be saved, the number of cycles, the quantity. I think one of the good things was what you mentioned in one of our project in casino, we were able to reduce significantly the number of equipment, less than half what is necessary. So by being able to reduce by less than half of the equipment of the requirement, then we can afford to buy expensive, better performance, higher sophisticated materials. Then we ended up getting lower costs compared to just using traditional scaffoldings or formwork system. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was a casino.
Yeah.
And then the time were even reduced significantly. We went so fast that I remember even Hansi of SM, the SM, one of the SM families, went there, and then when he was standing at the ground floor, and then when he saw, and then I remember he made a comment to the project management. I don't think Megawide can finish this in 2 months to complete top of the podium, because it was 3 hectares and 3 levels. You remember that?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So he made that comment, and then he said, "But nevertheless, I will come back after 1 month." So when he came back after 1 month, he's he got surprised that because he was already on the second and a half to third floor. So the third floor was almost complete. So we said, no, we will complete that in 60 days. So when he saw that all 1.5 is almost done, we only have like 1/2 floor. So he said, oh, then then Edgar is right. Maybe they can finish it. So I mean, those are things that you cannot buy, because the impression the impression it will give to the client and to the industry that how such a team or a company or a group of people that can deliver fast enough, and then it will give impact to a company, reputation, brand equity. So I think that's one an intangible things that one has to consider. It's not all about cost. You have to remember the marketing, the brand, the reputation. It's equally important, and you cannot price. You cannot see that in the costing.
Well, I always trying to explain to our younger engineers, because we also have a young teams coming in, that what you need to avoid is to trying to make every line item of the BOQ the minimum, because then the sum of the minimum would not be the lowest possible cost. Yeah, because investing in some of the technology of the ideas, in that case in the casino, it was not only an equipment. It wasn't actually anything special in the equipment, but it was everything about the idea, how to construct it using a certain method and re-engineer the existing project. But then it comes out that the investing in one of the line items had so much influence on others, then the sum becomes really the lowest.
I always say this start that when you do cost comparison, you cannot just let the quantity surveyor or the purchaser to do the comparison, because you are not able to just compare the whole system. Because if you ask a purchaser, no offense to the purchasers or the procurement or the QS, they will just compare on the line per line item because that's their job. But ultimately, as project manager, where the purchaser or the procurement officer or the QS guys are reporting, should capture the cost, the time, the quality, the risk, their brand, their reputation. I mean, it should be sometimes even a senior project manager or director level who has this kind of experience and perspective, because that's the only way you can really capture everything, including the intangible things where you cannot be where it cannot be computed and put it in a cost.
Absolutely.
So I think that's my advice to them, that don't just let a young guy, young engineer, because you cannot expect from young, inexperienced engineers to be able to have that perspective. That should be guided by a senior, more business, more project management perspective with business perspective.
Yeah. Well, the other obviously inflection points on the megawatt journey was the precast plant, which is in some way, almost contradictory to the interest of the industry, but it also changed a lot in the construction methods of the megawatt. And are you having any feeling that some of the trends in the construction industry will influence strongly the nearest future? What you are expecting to come and
Well, we know, I think it's not only in Philippines, but I think it's all over the world, right? The scarcity of workers is posing always a challenge. Scarcity and the skill set. So one of the reason is we went to formwork system, not a typical traditional um, formworks, is because one is by formwork system, you somehow reduce the reliability, the reliance on the carpentry works. That's why we did that. We went to this formwork system. But the challenge is also in, like in Philippines, you do a operation work, concreting works on site is also a challenge. So that's why going precast is also a good system. That's why in Megawide now, slowly we're expanding our precast component elements, so that if we can produce those concrete works outside, somehow we reduce further the reliance of the work on the workers, and also the risk of traffic, the risk of coordination, the risk of holidays, weather. So we're able to somehow reduce the risk. But I know there's a challenge that the cost of precast is more expensive because producing outside and then traveling it and bring it to the site is quite expensive also. But that's where the engineering comes in, where you use your management, where you use your time, where you use your quality, you use your engineering, so that you're able to address, to augment the extra cost that you'll be incurring. That's why right now in Megawide, we are combining precast and some steel formworks because you cannot get away the site works. That's why we still need the formworks. So now we always use this combination.
Okay. So yeah, that's very extremely strange sounding statement when I'm sort of talking to the other guys in the industry. Say, okay, well, any places in Asia, there is a shortage of labor. So this is not a problem of the Western European countries. It is a global problem. You go to India, you have the scarcity of the shortage of the labor, and also
Even in India,
even in India, there the exchange of the people go back to the agriculture, coming back the new teams, so you have to train them very quick. So going for the, let's say, systematic solutions, yeah, which are easy to adapt, absorb, and execute in a very good way is the future, regardless of the place on the world. So I hope that in 10 years from now, when we will be celebrating the 30 years of our partnership, we will be having another topics to talk and the new milestones to address and to recall. And thank you for your time and thank you for your partnership. And it was a great journey. Huh?
yeah, it's our pleasure. And by the way, Tark, remember now we're also diversifying to infrastructure works. So I'm also looking forward in working with Meva on how to utilize all those equipment that we have or that we will be having with you, uh, using in infrastructure applications such as subway, such as train, MRT. So we look forward on that because I think in building I think we have tried most of all the systems all over the world, right?
We adapted.
Yeah, we more or less adapted almost everything. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah, with the Mac, with the Meva deck, with
Yes.
the Alufix, with all we probably reached the limits. Yeah.
Ye-
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you everyone for having your time as well. And
My
all the best.
pleasure.
Yeah. By the way.
Hi to all Meva team,
Okay.
Karen, Floyran, and Mr. Dingler, and everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good.
Well done. Yeah.